Microsoft have announced Copilot Plus PC, a new set of AI that can run in Windows 11 with this new NPU chip. You can take advantage of this with some new devices that are coming both from Microsoft and some other partners. But in some of the announcements is also some details around how this will work from a business point of view, a commercial data protection kind of side of things. So this video is all about looking at that commercial data protection, what it means to run those AI on those devices, and actually how some of this technology works, so we as a business can understand what does that mean. So let's get started. A new era of AI and hardware together is what Microsoft have announced, naming it Copilot Plus PC. And with this is a whole bunch of new hardware running the new NPU chips, which run incredibly faster than a normal CPU or a GPU. So it's very much around hardware and using hardware to help you use some kind of AI and different elements within your Windows 11 environment. There are certain features which we'll go into very briefly, like this one here, which is called Windows Recall. So if you want to be able to go back and search from the last kind of 7 days around what content that you've been and things that you've seen online, images you've created, you could say, like it was there, a red car, it can find it. We've got live captioning, so if you're talking to people, it's coming up in the language, but it's all running on this NPU chip locally on your machine, not going off somewhere else to be processed. So there's a lot here with this kind of Copilot built into your Windows 11, but I think it's probably this Windows 11 stroke Copilot Plus PC to be able to help you to edit, do more, and be able to run everything locally on your machine. That's going to be a really important point that we're going to go into on this video. There are multiple partners that are building devices for Microsoft from HP and Acer and Asus, as well as the Surface devices that are going to be released later on in June with this new NPU chip. The one that Microsoft are releasing as part of the Surface will be able to transact 40 trillion operations per second. That's incredibly fast, and this is faster, as I said earlier on, than a CPU and a GPU, so it can be a dedicated chip for AI to be able to run. And during Microsoft's keynote, they showed tools like Adobe and some of their applications running and using all the AI features locally on the machine to be able to do those edits and to be able to do those changes. If you can probably imagine, we don't want as much going to the cloud. Maybe from a data protection point of view for your organization, you can't have AI processing in the cloud, but you still want to be an AI enabled organization. That's where it enables you to be able to run it locally on your machine to be able to go off and do certain elements with video editing, talking to the operating system. So let's have a look a bit about one or two of the applications that Microsoft are baking in to Copilot Plus PC. And one of these is actually called Windows Recall. If I go back to the video that I started this video with and show you Recall, as you can see here, it's kind of taking screenshots of your machine, looking back and certain times and dates, and then you can go off and search it. So it's kind of building an index of everything you've done on that local machine, storing it on that local machine, so then you can go back and you can understand maybe what actually you're looking for. Something, a Microsoft example there, you saw a red car. In the keynote, they talk about you finding a particular dress that maybe you saw. So it becomes really informative to be able to find stuff back and being able to find information back from a certain time period. That could be a day, that could be a week, whatever you want it to do. So from a business point of view, do we want this? Do we want to be able to have these different applications having screenshots taken of them and actually being stored locally on that machine? Microsoft has said it's not leaving that machine. It runs on the endpoint. It's saved on the endpoint. So everything's already been seen on that machine. And I guess you've got to do some kind of risk analysis of whether that is something that you want to enable. You can exclude certain websites and certain applications should you want to be able to do so, which I think is a key feature when we actually go, you know what, I don't want anything taken from my sales application as an example. No screenshots on that whatsoever. So important things to be looking at and considering as part in these different applications that we want to be able to go off and do. Looking at the creator here, Creator is ability to be able to go into like Paint, being able to go off and actually saying, can you create images? And these AI kind of image generation is being created on your local machine. The translation services here, as it's kind of going to go through again, these again all run on the local machine. This is to do with AI changing different things on your local machine rather than necessarily going off into the outside world, using the public cloud, the private cloud, to be able to run these different things. These are running locally on your machine. And I think that's a really important thing to note. Different organizations do not like things being processed outside of their own data centers, outside of their own machines. Now you're starting to get these AI features built into Windows on the local machine that you own, that you can control through Intune, Defender, or any other third-party application that you want to be able to go off and do. So it's really important that you understand before you buy any of these devices how this data is being processed, where it's being stored, and how it's going off. So remember, everything's running on the endpoint, that local device, rather than necessarily being transacted and being sent out to a data center to run. In Microsoft's official announcement on their blog, as you can see here, the official Microsoft blog, they've got a few things that mention around how the hardware works. I mentioned about how this 40 trillion operations per second, talk about the different devices and the partners and some of the videos that I've talked about. But a bit further down here, it starts talking about this commercial deployment and start testing this today. As you can kind of see, it just briefly says here about how we should, as admins, start going off and trying and testing and seeing what this kind of works. And it goes through to actually a separate document and page around actually how can we take this as a new era of AI at work. And this certainly is different. Again, we've talked about AI and how it runs in the cloud, but as I said, it's running now here on a local machine. So it kind of just goes through some general information around different elements, but I'm going to pull out a few 1 or 2 points here. So I'm going to point out this main paragraph just here. New ways of working are flourishing with new next generative AI, with more than 90% of Fortune 500 companies using Windows 11 and ready to age of new Copilot. Now, with Copilot Plus PCs, organizers can deploy devices purpose-built for AI with Copilot for Microsoft 365. So we've got some elements of here. Actually, we can take advantage of things on the machine as well as the cloud, enabling a powerful advanced solution for AI at work. Organizations who use these devices will equip with a new level of performance to handle demanding workloads, unique AI experiences, all with the most advanced Windows 11 security. This is something that we need to be taking advantage of. We're going to be having the conversation with Copilot, understand where that is running, where are the different applications running. Is it running in Adobe's cloud? And they have often announced about how they've got more features coming, and there are features coming for Adobe that are going to run on this new kind of MPU chip built into Copilot Plus PCs. So we've got to understand the architecture. We've got to start understanding different applications that run. As it also talks about how this Snapdragon X Elite ARM processor kind of runs. There are more other different processors coming from different, so it's really important that we go through, as it says here, Intel and AMD processors will follow later this year. So we've really got to start understanding recall as an example here. This is where I've just talked about. Got to make sure we take that running on your local machine. And yes, you can disable it through Intune should you want to be able to do so. So super important of things we'll do. As you can see there, there's an example. Recall, going through, you're looking for a red barn. Remember it in your memory that you saw some kind of red barn. Where has it found it inside these images? So AI is running on that local machine, understanding, making an index of what has been in certain screenshots so it can be easily found again as part of these things. Something you might find really useful. Certain things you might go, oh, I want to disable that altogether as part of things. Live captioning. I'll put a link into this, into your document, into the description. And then you can see turbocharging your business impact. If we're going to do it on our machines, we've still got to talk about success. What does it actually look like? How do we secure these machines? It's all in this article. So please do go off and have a read. I'll put it in the description. While you're going into the description, do click on that like and subscribe button for me as part of things. So as a conclusion to this video, it's a great set of announcements. Do understand what these applications are. Maybe get a device in, see how things are running. You cannot upgrade existing machines to this Copilot Plus features. It does need that NPU. That's a really important aspect to these things for it to be able to run. So if you're going to buy new devices, if you're going to go for these AI powered ones, know what the applications do. If an application comes in and it's AI enabled, does it run in the cloud? Do you agree with, actually, from your policies point of view, from a data protection point of view, that this data can be processed in their private cloud? Or do I need to have it so it runs on the local machine? Do those applications support that moving forwards? We're still in the early days of exactly what this looks like. I look forward to getting one of these devices myself, and I can understand things, how things can run maybe more locally rather than in the cloud. Helps from a sustainability point of view as well, that things can run more on the endpoint rather than more running in Microsoft data center. So I hope you found this useful, and hopefully I'll see you again soon on The Value Add.